everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets and welcome to the 3-day Under the Sea hashtag hop. So I'll talk a little bit more about the hop as we go along, but I wanted to show you the card that we're going to make and then the meme that gave me the inspiration for it. So there's the card and here's the meme that I posted on my Instagram a little while ago. I just thought that was so cute. And then I found these Sunny Studio Stamps, Oceans of Joy and Magical Mermaids that went perfectly with the meme and everything just kind of came together. So we're going to do a slimline card today and the card base is cut down to 8.5 by 7 and then it's scored at the 7-inch side at 3.5. So it's a 3.5 by 8-inch card base, and then the white cardstock is cut down to 1/4 inch shorter on all 4 sides. Then I took a piece of that of scrap white cardstock and I inked up the images from both of those Sunny Studio stamp sets with the Catherine Pooler Midnight ink. They stamped beautifully. They had been used before, but I am loving this ink. I really wish I had gotten it sooner. And then I had run that piece of white cardstock for on top of the card base plus a piece of Kraft cardstock through my Cuttlebug with one of the dies from Oceans of Joy die set. And you'll see the little wave that I created there. It coordinates with this stamp from Oceans of Joy. And then I used my Favorite Things latte ink to ink that up. I had to end up using a lot of the bottom of the Kraft cardstock because the original idea I had didn't really work out, and I'll show you that as we get to it. So I used Honeybee Stamps Sandy Shores to ink up the rest of it to make it look like sand at the bottom of the ocean. And I'm hoping that's what it really looks like and not sand on a beach, because when I looked at the card I was like, oh, it doesn't really look like that, but it's how it turned out. So I used that same My Favorite Things latte ink to ink this up. Now let's talk a little bit about the hop. It is a 3-day hashtag hop, and the beginning of my videos will all be the hashtag of the day. So you can either click on that link and you'll find everybody's videos that's associated with the hop, or you can type that into the search bar in YouTube and it'll bring up everybody's videos. So it's an under the sea themed hop for 3 days. So I'm super excited about that. I have my other stamp sets picked out for the other days. Okay, so let's get back into the card making. And here I'm actually going to show you why I had to use more of the Kraft cardstock, because when I cut it out, I had that piece of Kraft cardstock left over and it left an indent on there and you could really see it. And when I inked over it, you really couldn't see it as much, but I could still tell it was there, so I didn't want to do that. Now, this Funky Fresh paper pack from Michaels, it's one of their hot buys. That piece of paper in there inspired the sunset for that. I didn't want it to be during the day. I kind of wanted this theme to be at sunset because I don't really usually make cards like that. So I took that leftover piece of Kraft cardstock and I wanted to use it kind of as a mask so that I could do the ocean. So those inks that I used are Salty Ocean Distress Oxide and Broken China Distress Oxide. And then I'm going to use that stencil that you see to the right. It's a Kindred Stamps, I think it's called a bubble stencil. I used that with the Mermaid Lagoon Distress Oxide over it, so it looks like there's bubbles. It's a very faint, but it looks like there's bubbles in the ocean. And to achieve the look of the water underneath, I just kind of kept going back and forth between the 2 shades of blue Distress Oxide, the Broken China and the Salty Ocean. And it gives a really nice blend. I love the way the oxides look. They're creamier and I feel like they blend better than the Distress inks, but I still do love my Distress inks. I'm also going to do a technique here that you'll see in a second. Now I showed you the bubbles, that you'll see that can really only be done with oxides because they react with water and it gives it makes it kind of like a white, it oxidizes it. That's why they're called oxide, Distress Oxides, and it looks amazing. So I found my Tim Holtz water bottle, as you can see here. On my other video, I didn't think I could find it. I thought I left it down the shore, but I found it and it just gives that really cool effect. Now I'm going to take that piece of Kraft cardstock and turn it upside down, and we're going to create that sunset that was inspired by that paper from the paper pack. So we're going to use a couple different colors of Distress Oxide, and I started from the bottom up. There was a yellow, but I didn't want the yellow to mix with the blue because that would have created kind of a green, and I didn't want that. So I decided to go with Distress Oxide in Ripe Persimmon. So we're just going to do the pink, the purpley blue, then the red, then the orange. So we're starting at the bottom with Ripe Persimmon Distress Oxide. And then we're going to work our way up to Abandoned Coral, which is a red pink. And I think if I had to do it over again, I would do a darker red because these two, as you'll see, kind of almost blend into each other. And one of the things that you want to remember when you are butting things up and you're using a stencil is to pull the stencil down a little bit and have the color underneath showing, like have some of that blue showing, so that you don't get that white line in between the colors. I just went back with my blending brush and just kind of took care of it. But as you can see, it's kind of a reddish orange Abandoned Coral, and I don't think that there wasn't enough contrast, I don't think. And then I'm going to go in and use some Wilted Violet because I wanted a purple color. I was initially going to use Blueprint Sketch, and I do use it, but you'll see I go over it. And I used that towel that I had used to clean off the oxides, and I got a little bit of blue onto that orange and red, but I'll cover it with one of the animals, so you won't even be able to see it. I tried to cover it right there. It didn't all come off. There was a little bit of blue, but don't worry, you won't even be able to see that in the end. So now I'm going to go in with a small brush with the Blueprint Sketch, and I just didn't like the way this was turning out. I don't think I had enough room to use 4 colors, so I'm going to go over it again with the Wilted Violet, but because I went over it with the Blueprint Sketch, it actually makes it a deeper, darker purple, so it almost looks like I used 2 shades, so it's kind of ombre look. So I like the way it did turn out. And now we're going to use the Ohuhu markers that I bought for the girls, and I had those, and I used Copic markers the other day. I just wanted to use something a little bit different. These are the 100 pack of Ohuhu markers, and I am not positive. I'm going to pull out the Ohuhu markers and see if I can try to figure out what colors I used. I believe this is 53, 52, and 46, and the markers are coloring too fast, so I can't exactly tell. I don't think I hold them up, but they're just 3 different colors of green, and just try to get them to go back and forth and to blend. And then I am taking a black marker. It's called a Spectra marker, and I am putting the scales on her mermaid tail, just to give it a little bit of texture, because I think that when you're doing this, is almost like a 1-layer card. I didn't pop anything up. It's very little dimension on it. I think that just giving texture to the images really helps them pop. And you're only going to see me color the mermaid because I didn't think you guys wanted to spend an hour watching me color, because I know there's a lot of videos that are going to be on this hop. So now I'm using 2 colors of purple. I believe it's 84 and 82. That I'm using, and I do the same thing for her bikini and the starfish in her hair. And then we're going to use 2 of the colors of the green. I believe it's 46 and 53 to do her headband. And again, I'm just doing a little bit of a center highlight, and then we're going to be using 91 and 93 to do her hair brown. And I actually like the way that came out. Oh, sorry, we're doing did the little scallops on the top of her fin, and we're also going to do her skin color, and that was 27, 26, and 29. Or sorry, 25 and 26 was the colors that we used for her skin. I'm just trying to go through the colors now. Not very familiar with the Ohuhu numbering system, so I'm still trying to learn what colors go with what. And as you can see, I was scribbling a little bit down on the bottom just to see what colors kind of blended with what colors. Again, her skin is so small that really you only really needed a 2-color blend. And then I went in with a 3rd color, and then I went back in with 28 to put just a little bit of rosy cheeks on her. And then again, I believe it's 91 and 93 that I'm using for her hair color. And I love the way this came out. I was actually, the left side of her hair, I'm loving the way that came out. The right side's okay, but the left I really like. These are not the brush markers because Brooklyn pushes down on the brushes and ruins the markers. She's ruined a couple of, you know, just cheapy ones. So I decided to get the regular nibs, the bullet nibs, and then the chisel end on these ones so that it's easier for the girls to handle, but it's harder to do flick lines with. But I attempted to do it and I'm happy with the way that it came out. So that's all that matters. So you'll just see the rest of the coloring. I hope that you guys are enjoying this hop. Like I said, it is a 3-day hashtag hop. So if you click on that hashtag, you'll see everyone's videos. I'm super excited about this. So after I was done coloring them, I used my brother's Scan and Cut to cut out all of the images. And now we're going to stamp a sentiment on the background. And you're going to use, we used MFT Sweet Tooth pigment ink, and it said, "You mermaid to be awesome." Oh, I love that sentiment. I just think it was cute. Now with pigment ink, you can't press down really, really hard because it spreads and the letters will kind of like run together and you won't be able to tell what the words say. So now I'm just going to get ready to put the card together. So I'm turning it over and measuring it out. So I'm going to put little marks on the back where I know that I have to put glue so that I can, on the back of the white piece, so that I can glue everything down and then cut it off. But the white ink is not dry. Pigment ink does take a really long time to dry. So I was just trying to be super careful. I think I smudged it a little bit, but you really can't tell in the end. So I'm just putting glue on the cardstock above the green marks, and then I'm gonna take my Tim Holtz tonic trimmers and trim off the side. And that's going to be the front of the card base, and I am going to put, I put glue down first, or I'm trying to think of what I did first. I think I glued all the images down into place. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I took the 100 marker from the Ohuhu markers and went around the edges of all of the images just to give it a little bit more of a finished look. I like the way that looks. Normally take any black marker that I have and just go around the edges when I use my brother's Scan and Cut so that it looks finished. So after all that was done, I placed them on my background just to see where I wanted them to go. And then I took my MFT On Point Precision Glue and started to glue them down into place. Oh, I thought this scene was coming together very nicely. I was really happy with the way this turned out. It wasn't exactly what I had in my mind, but it was pretty darn close. So I think the sand was probably a little bit higher than I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be kind of a third. It's almost a third, a third, a third. I wanted the sand to be less, the water to be a little bit more. But again, the way that it turned out, it's fine. So like in the meme, I wanted the dolphin to be kind of jumping out of the water. I probably should have had it, like, I don't know, maybe kind of cut the water out or something. I don't know. But I was, again, I'm very critical of myself sometimes, so it's good enough. So we're using my ATG and putting some tape down so that I don't smudge that white pigment ink because it's still not dry, and putting the card front on. And that's the card for the day. I hope that you guys are enjoying this hop and are hopping along with us. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channels on here. And thank you guys for stopping by. I will see you guys again real soon for another video. Bye!